Hello everyone, welcome to a webinar, How Will COVID-19 Affect Your PR Pathway? I'm Erin from AGS Education and Migration, and with the purpose supporting international students due to COVID-19. Last week we already had a webinar about tax. I hope we provide enough information to address your concerns about tax. If you missed our tax webinar last week, please go to our YouTube channel, AGS Education and Migration, to watch full the webinar. And if you have any question about tax, please contact us on Facebook, AGS Education and Migration. So in the webinar today, I have here with me Mr. Derrick Pham, migration agent. He has been a registered migration agent for almost 7 years, and he has also been a qualified education consultant for over 3 years. And he's expert on student visa, skill and employer sponsor, family stream, visitor visa, bridging visa A, B, C, and E, and AAT review, limited federal circuit court appeal experience. And also we have other speakers, as well as Miss Nguyen, an education expert with over 14 years of experience working in the industry consulting, and Miss Nguyen and AGS Education has been a reliable brand to help international students find suitable schools, courses, and scholarship applications, visa application, and work plan in Australia. And today I'm gonna ask them questions about education and migration, how it be affected by COVID-19, your chance to get PR due to COVID-19, and any support from IMI or schools for international students. I'm sure this is a very, very hot topic for you want to know. So thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Derrick and Miss Anne.
Hello from Sydney.
Hi everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And the webinar today has 2 sessions. The first session, we're gonna talk about new updates about education and migration due to COVID-19. And the second part is Q&A session. We're gonna answer all of your questions right in the webinar. So now to all my audiences, if you have any question for our migration agent and education experts, please write it down in the chat box, and we're going to answer all of your questions at the Q&A sessions. Okay, so let's start. Derrick, can you please update to us any changes or update about migration and the current conditions, the COVID issue to the visa?
Okay, so look, it's going to affect everybody differently depending on their circumstances, but I'll try to address the issues which would affect the most people. Okay, so most of you guys would be students. Okay, if your school has closed down or is teaching online, okay, that is okay. It will not be in breach of your study condition. Okay, if it's going to take you longer to apply to finish your course, you can extend. That won't be a problem. It's just in terms of your finances. Obviously, you might have lost work, or your financial support may be not as strong as it was. You can access your super, but it is expected that you can financially support yourself. You won't be eligible for JobKeeper or JobSeeker payments. So those are probably the main thing for student visa holders. For 485 visa holders, or people applying for 485 visas, there are no changes. Okay, so you still need to pay the application fee. You still need to apply within 6 months of completing your course. You still need to meet the English requirements, and you still need to maintain health insurance, which I think most of you should be okay with that, except for the people who haven't taken their English test yet. So if you've finished your course, or you've almost finished your course and you haven't done your English test yet, I think that may be a problem, because you need your English result when you apply for the 485 visa. So if you are in that category, please do contact us for individual advice. Yeah, those are the 2 main subclasses, which I think are affected. So I just addressed people who are going to apply for the 485. So people who are already holding a 485, if you are trying to get experience in order to get your skills assessment, or in order to meet the requirements for a permanent visa, or a 482 visa or a 491 visa, that is going to affect you. Okay, you can't count experience if you're not working, even if you're still employed. Okay, so if you've been stood down temporarily, but you're still on the books, but you're not working, that does not count as work experience. Okay, so I'm going to talk about 491 because I think a lot of you guys will be interested in that. Okay, so I'm going to talk about 3 states because we are limited in time. Okay, so New South Wales was supposed to open their program in February, but they haven't yet. I suspect because of the bushfires and now because of the virus. On the website, it says it will be opening soon. Okay. However, I think for most people, if you've recently moved to New South Wales for this visa, or if you're considering to move there closely in the near future, you still need to stay there for a while before you can apply for state nomination. A lot of the streams require you to live there or work there for 12 months, or study there for 2 years. So you can go there and start meeting that requirement now. And then once you finish that, the program should already be open. The next one is Tasmania. Okay, so Tasmania has 5 different categories. Okay, and category 3 has 2 different subcategories, which is for offshore people. So if you are offshore and wanted to apply for this, it's closed to everyone except for high demand occupations, which is basically nurses. Okay, so I think most of you guys would be onshore, so it wouldn't really affect you. They also made another announcement. Okay, if you're on a bridging visa and you've got an application for review at the tribunal or appeal at the courts, to apply for the 491 visa, you need to go offshore. Now, you obviously can't do that now because if you leave, you can't come back. So Tasmania have stated that you can still apply for nomination. You won't be prejudiced because of it. As long as you meet all the other requirements, you can have your nomination approved. Okay, and for South Australia, they changed one requirement, which is that for nurses, they previously wanted 5 years work experience, but that has now been removed. Okay, so you could, if you're already in South Australia, you could possibly apply for nomination right now, which is a big change. So if you can see that there's a theme that states are in need of nurses and healthcare workers. So if you are in those categories, you should try to lodge a nomination as soon as possible. But if you're not in that category, then there hasn't been any rule changes that's going to affect you. Okay, the programs are still open to onshore people. The only thing I'm concerned about is the places for so this is going to apply to all the skilled visas. So the 189, the 190, and the 491. Now, there's limited information available about how many invitations get issued and how many and what occupations there are. Now, in March, there was still a lot of invitations for the 189 visa and the 491 visa in the family stream. Okay, but at that time, COVID-19 wasn't really a big problem. We only had a small amount of cases every day. So I don't know if April there's going to still be a lot of places because I think there's less demand for workers right now because of the economy. Okay, because the skilled invitations, they reflect the demand in Australia. Now I'm trying to look for some of the states. Now, a lot of the states don't issue their invitations for the 190 and the 491 visa, but ACT do. And you know, they do their invitation rounds every 2 weeks, and in the last the last 2 invitation rounds, they've issued a lot lower numbers than they normally do. So I think that reflects the job market right now. So the April rounds are going to come out soon, so we are going to watch that closely. But I think the general advice would be, if your EOI is in the queue, or if you're going to apply for state nomination soon, then I think there might be less places available. So that's the general advice on skilled visas right now. I'll talk about 408. So there's a lot of talk about this visa right now. Okay, I think it's got a few people excited, and some people are getting different bits of information.
Yep.
Okay, but I've checked the laws and I've checked the immigration website. So there's a few requirements which make it very hard and make it limited to very few people. Okay, so your visa must be expiring within 28 days. Okay, you must be unable to apply for any other subclass. Okay, and there's another requirement which I haven't written there, but you must be working, you must have been working in a vital sector such as healthcare or agriculture, supermarkets possibly. Okay, areas that are particularly in need because of the virus. Okay, so if you're on a student visa, I think it's going to be very hard for you to meet those requirements. Okay, because you know, I think very few of you would be working in those sectors, and very few of you would really be unable to apply for any visa. You know, because if you can't afford to study anymore, if you can't, you know, you can apply for a visitor visa. Okay, some people might be able, if they can't study anymore, okay, and they're not working in healthcare, it might be, and they really can't support themselves and they can't go home, it might be possible to apply for a 600 visa with work rights. That's possibly something, but that's generally given in very limited circumstances. So I think the 408 stream visa is going to apply to very few people, mainly working holiday visa holders.
Thank you, Derrick, so much for the great information and the update. Let's go to the Q&A session. The first question is for Miss Anne. I want to know about whether government waive visa application fee for students, or will university or colleges decrease tuition fee due to COVID-19 or not?
Wow, it's a very interesting question, and actually not only students, even us, a education agent for students, we're expecting for that as well. But unfortunately, at the moment, we haven't received any news update from immigration to waive visa application or any support about visa fee for students. So probably, yeah, just hopefully very soon we probably have some news for that. Regarding to the support from providers, school institution, there are some now offering students some kind of financial support and also food package as well. So if you look up into our Facebook website, AGS Education Migration, and you can see we do post on that for what we receive any notification from school. At the moment, I remember Western Sydney University in Sydney offering 10% tuition fee off. In the university in Adelaide, IMIT in Melbourne, some of that and a number of colleges as well do offer some financial relief. Yeah, check out on our Facebook website. We will update that all for you.
That's awesome, Krisha. Thank you so much, Miss Anne, for the answer. And let's jump to the second questions. How long will it take to process student visa in this COVID-19 time?
Yes, that's a good question as well. We do have a number of applications submitted in February, March, and slowly now we're getting the visa outcome. In our group here now today, we would also have one student on the group. She just received the student visa rented the outcome a few days ago. And Erin, you applied for this case. How long she was waiting for this application?
For student visa is around 2 months.
2 months, yeah, for this
Yeah,
kind.
yeah.
Yeah, because it changed from different visa. But
Yeah, exactly.
for the processing time, I noticed not much different. Depend on if you at the time of application, you provide all the documents, including insurance and health check, then generally the visa processing time quite the same. There is a little bit delay, depend on because some students now cannot go for the health check because some health center now they're taking very limited booking numbers. So that only the thing make your application a little bit delayed. Otherwise, the processing for student visa very much the same. Yeah, I just want to add in a bit more. I know like many students feel panic, like what worry for their visa application. As you know, like before the COVID, all the application was processing online. So it's very much the same line now as well. Everything's still online processing. So immigration, the key officer still work on the application as usual. And some of them working at home and maybe some still working in the office as well. Just a little bit delay because of the thing happening every day. But for the, all the process procedure quite still the same.
Awesome. And also at this time it's a bit hard to take the English test. If the student passed 6 months to apply for visa 485, so can you please advise about this this case as well?
Can I ask again the question for which type visa? 500 or
485 visa.
Yeah, 485. 485 is probably a little bit concerned for that because according to the regulation, you need to provide the booking for English before you can submit for the application. You don't need to provide the outcome at the time of application. Therefore, at the moment, we haven't got any further advice on immigration for those students running out the time to apply for 485. So that we are monitoring and to see what the response from immigration about this. Derrick, you want to add a bit more about that for those students running out the 485, the time to apply for 485?
Yeah, it concerns me as well because you know you could possibly book the exam, lodge your application, and wait for the center to open up. But if you don't pass, then your application will absolutely fail. So there are some things you can do. It's to some students it might be possible to extend, like to study a short course, and then still apply for the 485 visa after the short course. But that course, it needs to be at a high enough level and it needs to be closely related to your main course in order for you to be able to apply after that course. Otherwise, you will have issues with that 6-month requirement thing. So again, you need individual advice. Yeah, but so if you haven't done your English test yet, that's what you need to be thinking about.
Awesome, thank you, Derrick. And Miss Anne as well. One student asking us here. So the question is, I have background of early childhood teaching. If I want to get nomination for 91, so which regionals and course I can study? And do you have any recommendation for my PR pathway? My visa 485 will expire in 1 year.
Yeah, actually, I just finished the Master of Early Childhood Teaching, like as a teacher.
Okay. So, okay, and have you got your teacher registration yet?
Actually, I just finished the course in November, and my graduation will be on this April, but actually because of the virus, so it's delayed.
Okay, so if you're able to get your teacher registration, then you can get a skills assessment. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you mean like the teacher registration is mean like the NESA certificate?
Yes, that's right. Basically, if you can get your teacher registration, it means you've studied the correct course, because there's some master's courses in teaching which actually doesn't let you get registration. They're more like research courses and stuff.
So what's document like I need to prepare to get the teacher registration? because one of my friends, because I just come back from my holiday, and one of my friends in the same course, she already applied for the skill assessment and she got the NETSA certificate. It's just me because I need to apply for some document from my uni, and at the moment no one work at the office, so I'm just waiting for the document.
Okay, all right. So let me clarify. Okay, so if you can get teacher registration, that just means you've studied the correct course. Okay, but then to apply for your skills assessment, what you do is you give your qualifications to the skill assessing body. Okay, and that should be enough to get your skills assessment. Okay, so that's one issue out of the way. The next one is with 491, there's 8 different states and territories, and each one has different requirements. Okay, so you need to choose which state you want to live in and which requirements suit your individual needs. So you should be applying for a 485 visa very soon. Okay, and so you have 2 years to sort of get settled into a state. Okay, but generally, each state, they will have one common requirement, which is that you must live there for a certain amount of time, that you must find work there. Okay, usually in your occupation, but sometimes not. Okay, that is the main requirement. And so then it comes down to choosing which state you want to live in. And like if you've got family, you might want to move to like a further state away. Things like that. Okay.
Well, can I share with you something? Because actually, before I'm coming to your AGS education and migrations, I already visit some agent, and they with my backgrounds, they recommend me like a course, like any course. It's just for 1 year in Tasmania. But actually, the course is about the diploma of project and management. And just for 1 year, study for 1 year and live there for 1 year as well. So I can apply for nomination 491. But at the same time, because I contact with some of my friends in Hobart, Tasmania, and they told me that it's really hard to apply for 491 nomination visa, because I don't know why, because that's made me confused about like the course I'm choosing before I move to Tasmania. So can you help me to clarify that?
Okay, so Tasmania, they put a list of their requirements for state nomination, but just meeting those requirements doesn't guarantee that your nomination will be approved. They have a set number of places. Okay, they only issue the approvals to the strongest applications, and they have a requirement called commitment to Tasmania. Okay, now a lot of people, they go there and then they study or they live there for the minimum amount of time. Okay, like they just study, like they just go there and study like a diploma in some a different course. Like if they've got their bachelor's in accounting, they'll go there and they'll study a 1 year course in management. Okay.
And I'd like to add in a bit more is like what Derrick just said, study is just one of the requirements. Not only Tasmania, if you move to any other state, they also require commitment. Commitment means like how you contribute to the state, showing by working, by any volunteer work, and anything else about a commitment as well, not only studying. So mean that even you go to Tasmania or you move to other states, you still need to meet all those requirements as well.
So
can I just, sorry, can I just finish up? So like some people, they study in things different to what they're working in, what they got their skills assessment in, and then that may create an issue with your career plan, because in Tasmania you do a career plan. Now, if you've already got your bachelor's and you've got a 2 year visa, and you work in Tasmania for maybe not 1 year, but maybe a year and a half, 2 years. Okay, then you've got a strong commitment to Tasmania. Okay, and your career plan is better because you've been working in the field which you're qualified in. Okay, so those are some things which other students might struggle with, but you might be better for you.
All right. I
Okay.
think if Derrick and me will give you a call to give more details
Oh,
about it,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Thank
And
you. Yeah,
remember,
thank you, better.
you said like you got a bit struggle to get connect to your previous university to get the documents. So what I understand in all the school, they have started working online or at homes.
Yeah.
You just see hook them an email. For sure, someone will respond.
Oh,
Otherwise,
no.
yeah,
Sorry, Anne.
yeah,
I'm just struggling with the recommendation from some agents about the course I can study in Tasmania, and
yeah,
I don't mind to even though I don't mind to choose another regions, because
yeah,
I know that a lot of international students they move to Tasmania, and what I think is now, like, because a lot of students move to Tasmania, maybe it's like the government in Tasmania can change the rules, so that's
yeah.
why I just asking about like the stay, even though I can move to Darwin or Adelaide, as long as the possibility for my nomination is like is
Yeah,
higher. Yeah,
yeah.
that was
We
yeah.
understand.
I may contact with you. Yeah,
Sure. Yeah, we will get back to you for more details about your case, yeah, and see what are the
yeah.
options better for you.
And the next question is from the iPhone Francis. Do you have any idea approximately when will the government lift the travel restriction to go to Australia for temporary visa holders?
Okay, no, I don't. Okay, it depends on how the virus, how bad the virus is and how quickly we can get the numbers down. What I do know is that the numbers of cases is going down quite quickly. But then even once the cases are down, we need to keep the restrictions there. Okay, now currently, now one of the first restrictions was a travel restriction. And then after that, we reached stage 1 lockdown, and then stage 2 lockdown, and then stage 3 lockdown. Okay, so if you're going to ease those restrictions, you're going to go in reverse. So we're going to go back down to 2, and then
Yeah.
back down to 1. And then if we can go even further, then we're going to allow people to come. It will be coming and quarantining for 14 days. So I think that's going to be a while. I'm thinking end of this year or early this year. That's my guess.
Okay.
This month, you mean? I just add in a bit more, like Derrick said, depend on the situation. But like in Canada at the moment, government just announced they open they lift the travel restriction, allow students to come to Canada, continue their study. But everyone need to be placed in the quarantine for 14 days. So yeah, we can be very positive, look forward that government will give some favor to student visa holder.
Thank you, Miss Anne and Derrick. Go back to the visa 408. We have a question about this visa from Joshua Kai. How about visa 485 holder who is working as childcare worker and the visa expiring soon within 28 days? Can I apply for visa 408? Can you please advise?
I think you can. Okay, you will need to contact us, provided that your employer, there's still work for you there, because I know a lot of centers are losing their enrollment numbers. Yeah, possibly, yes.
He said like he's still working as a childcare teacher on visa 485.
Yes, yes. So if you can show you can't apply for any other visa, I think it's possible. If you want, contact me, okay, and then I'll go through in detail. But I think it may be possible.
Another question: will the process of state nomination and visa 491190 will be delayed due to the COVID-19?
Okay, so like I said before, okay, once you lodge the application, I think in terms of processing that application, it's going to be pretty much the same. What it may affect is the number of places available. Like I said before, there's not that much demand in a lot of areas now, so there might be less places. Immigration and some states are going to release their numbers soon, and we will be watching that very carefully.
Thank you so much, Eric. The next one, I extend my student visa and I have Tasmania state nomination, but I have not applied because I heard that if I apply for the visa 491, I will get a bridging visa type C, which does not allow me to work until I receive answer of visa 491. Is that the information above choose? Please advise.
Okay, so I think I know about this question. So I think you've applied for a student visa, and you're still waiting for that now. So I'm guessing you're currently holding a bridging visa A. Now, if you apply for the 491, you will have an A and a C. The A will allow you to work, so you can work with the A. Now, if you withdraw your student application because you don't want to study or you don't want to pay the fees, then you will lose your A, and then you will be stuck with the C, and then you won't be allowed to work. So it depends on whether you keep your student application or not. I think this student has already applied for their student visa, and they're currently on a bridging visa waiting for the outcome of their student visa. Okay, so they should have a bridging visa A. Now, if you apply for a 491 right now, you will have two bridging visas, A and a C. Okay, the A gives you work rights. You can work under the A. If you withdraw the student application, you'll lose the A, and you'll be stuck with the C, and C doesn't have work rights.
Awesome. Thank you, Derrick. So the next one from Molly. I just got my student visa granted the other day. Is there any way I can have PR? I will be 44 years old next week. Thank you.
Need to have her background as well to see how he can go for PR. Can you brief her background? You do the student visa for her, right? I remember.
Yeah, her background is she haven't studied anything in Australia, so but she have the qualification in teaching, primary teaching, primary teacher, actually the occupation, right? And she just come here on visitor visa and then apply for student visa, and apply for the course leadership and management at the moment. So any advice for her for the PR?
Okay, obviously it's gonna be hard because of the age limit. Okay, all the visas have an age limit, whether it's skilled or sponsored. Okay, so you wanna try and use your overseas qualifications and experience to try and get a visa. So if that's teaching, you want to try to get your teaching qualification recognized in Australia, so you can get registered as a teacher, and so you can get your skills assessment, and hopefully try and get enough points. But it will be quite difficult. Given the time that you have, there are some things that you might be able to do, such as a labor agreement, and that one, again, you will need to contact us. I will say that you can get a 485 visa, okay, if you study a proper course, a suitable course. You can. The age limit for a 485 visa is 50. But in terms of all the the 491s and the 189s, the age limit is 45, no waivers. So that would be difficult.
Thank you, Derrick and Erin.
Yeah. Oh, that's you?
Okay. Yeah, she just got a student visa granted from a visitor visa.
Yes, thank you so much.
Right, we will go more further about your case, Molly.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Molly, and thank you, Derrick and Miss Anne. So next question is from Sid. I have already submitted for visa 491 state nomination. Visa 485 is expiring by mid of June. So in that case, do I need to apply for another visa, or I would have my state nomination approved by then? Please suggest.
So are you saying you've applied for state nomination, but there hasn't been a decision yet?
Yes, already submit state nomination. Yes.
Okay. The processing times are on the website. Most nominations are decided within about 6 weeks. So you'll probably get a decision by then. If it's approved, you can go ahead and apply for your 491. If it's not approved, then you need to find another visa. Or if you don't have a decision yet, then you would need to apply for another visa to keep yourself here onshore, because applying for a nomination doesn't give you a bridging visa. But most likely you will have a decision by June.
Awesome.
And also, just add it a bit. So probably can consider a 600 visa or 40I, depend on the circumstance.
Yeah, the main thing is you got to establish that you can't apply for a 600. That's my concern.
So next question, is there a PR pathway for diploma of early childhood and care holder?
Yes, there is a pathway as a childcare center manager and possibly as a room leader. Okay. Very briefly, if you stay in a non-regional area, you're looking for sponsorship, which requires 2 years experience in a management position. Okay, then you apply for the 482 visa. But if you want to go regional 491, you need a skills assessment, which starting as of November last year, you need 3 years experience as a manager to get skills assessment. So in some respects, it's actually easier to get PR in like Sydney or, you know, in Brisbane than it is in a regional area.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you, Derrick. So we have a question from Savita. I'm currently in Hobart, about to finish my diploma in leadership and management next month. Want to apply visa 491. I did 2 masters in IT and business management. Got skill assessment ready for the same time. My background is nursing, currently working as clinical care manager without skill assessment. What are my chances for 491 in Tasmania or other states?
Okay, so you are extremely qualified. Okay, obviously there's a high demand for nursing right now, but if you don't have a skills assessment, then I'm guessing you haven't done the bridging program yet, which means you're not registered as a nurse here. So that means nursing is not...
Actually, I did register. I'm qualified as a RN, and I'm currently working as a registered nurse cum clinical care manager since last July.
Okay. Then okay, but you haven't applied for your skills assessment yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Because my overseas experience before 10 years, so I'm not eligible for doing, and I don't have any recent experience in Australia because I got registration only last year, Feb. So I'm not even a year doing my experience as an RN here.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure for a skills assessment, all they require is registration. If you're registered, then you can get a modified skills assessment and get your skills assessment. Okay, now once you get your skills assessment, if you got enough points, you can apply for a nomination as a nurse, which may get you, you know, an easy invitation because it's in demand. But so did you say you haven't got experience in Australia as a nurse, or you do have experience as a nurse?
I just started working as a RN only last year, July onwards, because I got last year, February only my registration. I was working as a carer, but they don't count that. So.
May I ask, like, are you working full time?
No, I'm on the student visa.
Student visa, yeah, it's only part. Probably David, look at her skill assessment in master degree because she had a master in IT and business. And what assessment you already have in IT?
Business analyst.
Business analyst, yeah, in ACA. Yeah. So yeah, probably look at that skill assessment, and then you need to meet the state nomination commitment requirements as well.
Okay, so which is the best one, nursing or IT? Because if I do skill assessment, I need to wait minimum 2-3 months again to get everything worked out, right?
Do you have any skills assessment in IT or anything?
Yeah, I have already system analyst system analyst skill assessment ready for submission.
Is that a full skill assessment?
Yeah, I did IT here, so.
IT, but did you complete the PY program?
Yeah, I did that too. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, you can apply for both. There's nothing stopping you.
Okay.
You know, if you want to do IT, it doesn't hurt to just try. Okay, and then once you, if you can get a nursing skills assessment and nurses are still in demand, you can try again.
Okay.
The thing my thing is, you are studying diploma, you can consider change to diploma of nursing. So later on, you can nominate a enrolled nurse in Tasmania. It's on a list of Tasmania as well. So it will
But I don't want to go down because I already done registered nursing and 2 masters. So I don't want to go down. They obviously will ask me why you already done the registration, why you're going down as an enrolled nurse from a management role.
At the moment, you are doing diploma, you can change the programs.
So can't I relate that to the management, what I'm doing the role now, related to the nursing?
Yeah, it is possible because at the moment you're working in that area as well, in health centers. So yeah, it's quite suitable that you need to study a related degrees, because the one you have is from offshore and it is already more than 10 years, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably we need to look at your case as well in more details after the event. Yeah, I will give you more suggestions for that.
Yep.
Next question from Nguyen Huang. Is there any affection to my visa 485 or 491 visa later if I travel back to home country due to COVID-19? I am holding student visa at the moment.
It could affect your 485 visa. Okay. Okay. So if you leave now, you might be gone for a long time. You can't study online. 485 visa has a 2-year study requirement. You need to finish 2 years of study in Australia. Okay, so it could affect it in that way. In terms of your student visa, you need approved leave from the school. If the school don't approve your leave under compassionate or compelling grounds, the student visa might be cancelled while you're offshore. But generally, they'll understand. Okay. You know, 491 visa, it might affect your onshore work experience in terms of claiming points. Or if you're already living in a regional area, it affects the amount of time you've lived in the state. But you know, most people on a student visa, they don't start accumulating experience yet because experience only counts post-qualification. Look, if you need to go back, look, contact us. I'll let you know if you can go back, whether it will affect your 485 visa or not. But yeah, if you have to go back, we'll see if you can. But I generally recommend not to go back because you don't know when you can come back here.
Thank you, Derrick. Another question for student want to ask Miss Anne. He's Nguyen. AGS is currently helping me to apply for student visa at AGS in Adelaide. We'll be learning cookery, Step 3, Step 4, and hospitality in 2 years. I have received a detailed student payment. Am I eligible to for any discount? Can you answer this question, Miss Anne?
I realize him. Hello, I'm here. All right. I received your question, and for sure you are eligible for that. And we, I'm about to say this on the last, before the event finished. At the moment, AGS have a promotion, a support to help onshore students overcome the COVID-19. So the promotion we support students, if for any new student applying for a new course and visa, we will support for the visa application fee. The value is $620. And that because you're going to study a college program, so that you will get the cashback once you make the payment to the country. The other promotion is you can choose either 1 or 2 only. So if you want to take that visa fee waiver, then you cannot eligible for the fee discount every term. The fee discount every time we applying for those students don't need to change visa. or for our current ongoing student. So for students studying in college, they are allowed for a discount of $50 for college degree, or $150 for those studying in higher education in university. So you can choose either one of that. I will discuss, my team will contact you for more details about this. Yeah. Regarding to your regarding your second question, is there any chance for me to apply for a visa after graduating? How about PR pathway for my study? For your chance to apply for the graduating, probably Derrick, you can advise him a bit about this, because we already suggest him to do a Certificate 3 for a diploma in hospitality, a Certificate 3 for in cookery, and he going to Adelaide to commence the course soon.
Okay, in Adelaide. Okay, so skills assessment, you could get your skills assessment. Okay, so if you studied the course in Adelaide, you might be able to apply it directly for 190 instead of going through the 491. Because you studied in Adelaide, you can get your skills assessment within one year of finishing your course, okay, through the TRA Job Ready program. That requires you to have a full-time position. Okay, by the time you finish that, you've got another 1 year working in your occupation as a chef or a cook, and you've been living in South Australia for a long time. So yes, you might be able to go directly to 190 instead of 491.
So in brief about the question from Tango is after you complete that package, Circuit 3 for and hospitality, you can eligible to apply for the 190 state nomination from Adelaide. Occupation can consider a chef, cook, or could be other as hotel, restaurant manager as well. It's on the list. Yeah, so depend occupation on the list and your work experience as well. You may need about 1 year of work experience in that occupation. And then, and then you can go for the 190, even 491, depend on your point at the time as well. So Derrick and me will get in touch with you to discuss further about that PR pathway.
Yep, awesome. Thank you, Derrick and Miss Anne. The next questions. I am currently a postgraduate student in Victoria University in Sydney campus. Miss Anne told me some alumni from the same course has been accredited to be an ICT business analysis from ACS. Can I have some of their contact info?
Yeah, I realize you as well, Tân Tài, yeah, Tân Tài Nguyen from Ho Chi Minh office. We have a team from Ho Chi Minh here today as well. Tân Tài, I will send you, remind me again, I will send you the contact of the student already got the skill assessment positive from Victoria University in Sydney of this program. Yeah, just remind me, yeah.
Thank you, Miss Anne. And now it's time to finish our webinar. I would like to say thank you so much, Miss Anne and Mr. Derrick, so much for joining us today. And I hope we already clarify and address your doubt about education and migration. To all the audience, if you haven't have a chance to ask our speaker about your question yet, you can send your question to our Facebook, AGS Education and Migration, or call us at the hotline 0430 334-299. And next week, we will have a webinar about how to find jobs due to COVID-19. So please follow our Facebook, AGS Education and Migration, to know more about the details of the webinar.
I'd just like to remind everyone, in our team, we do have an expert, WD tax service, will help students to claim air tax because it's coming to the end of the June, the end of the June of the year. So you can claim, want to ask about how to claim tax, or even though any government support probably will come later on, like draw supper, then we have an expert to help you that. And also we have a team of mentor and job coaching. You can reach out to us, then we will have someone to help you searching for job as well. And yeah, just keep in touch. If we have anything special, we will let you know.
And now, thank you so much, and bye-bye.
Bye.